Hey, welcome back to the New England Endurance Podcast. I'm your host, Art Trapozis, and today we're heading to Manchester, Connecticut, a town with some deep running traditions and one of the most active communities in the state. My guest today is David Fusfeld. He's the president of Manchester Running Club, and I'm really excited to learn about this club because I hear good things about it. I want to hear about the history. I want to hear about how you balance the competitive side of your team with the more social side. I also want to hear about the Connecticut running scene. We don't have a ton of Connecticut guests on here, and I feel like we should have more. There's also a really, really cool track series that you guys run over the summer, which gets the youth involved, and it sounds incredible. And before we get into that, just a little bit about my guest today. So he started running a little bit later in life in his 30s, and then he got totally hooked. He's done like 23 marathons, a bunch of Boston marathons, and this thing called the Abbott World Marathon 6-Star, which I'd love to just quickly hear about that. But for the past 3 years, he's been the president of Manchester Running Club, which I will call MRC. It's a nonprofit. It was founded in 2009. It now has about 250 members, a bunch of weekly group runs, a bunch of local events, and a pretty cool presence in Connecticut. So I'm really excited to have you on. Welcome to the show, David.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, why don't we start with your journey? So, you started a little bit later. You've run a bunch of marathons, like more than a bunch. What got you hooked?
So I'm what we sort of call an adult onset runner, right? I didn't start to pick up the sport until I was 36, 35, somewhere in there. And it was just a little bit of, I needed something to just get myself outside, lose a little bit of weight, sort of find a challenge for myself. A good friend of mine at the time was the marathoner in our sort of circle. And I said, "Hey, teach me how to run." And he looked at me like I was crazy, like, "Teach me how to run? What are you talking about?" So we just started running together, and he sort of would trick me. We would go for a 3 mile run that accidentally turned into a 4 mile run one week, and then the next week he tricked me again, and a 5 mile run turned into a 6 mile run, and so on and so forth.
Nice.
Anyway, I sort of just got hooked on getting out there and just sort of proving myself that I could do things, and then my friend sort of convinced me to try a marathon. We had no goals, 5 hours. I think we just decided let's just go out there and do it. And hooked from there. I just, during one of our runs, he sort of explained to me this idea of the Boston Marathon was this thing that you had to actually run another marathon to be able to run that marathon, and I just couldn't get my head around that. So at some point, I just sort of said, you know what, I'm going to do that, and that's what happened. I actually found the Manchester Running Club sort of through that. Just
Wow.
a bunch of a dedicated bunch of runners that just sort of helped me sort of along on my journey that way. So.
Well, the elusive BQ is something to be proud of because
Yeah.
the times just keep dropping and dropping.
It's insane. Obviously we age up every 5 years, and I think each time I've aged up was when they've also lowered the standard. So each time my standard sort of stays the same.
Okay, so what's this Abbott 6-Star thing? Can you just tell us quickly about that?
So there's 6 world marathon majors. So there's Boston, New York, London, Chicago, Tokyo, and Berlin. All across the world, those are the marathon majors, and if you complete all of them, you've completed the world marathon majors, and you get a fancy 6-star medal for it, and it's just an achievement to really recognize that you've traveled the world, completed 6 marathons. It's just a fun
Wow,
journey. It's a
congrats.
really exciting way to see the world. Thank you. Yeah, I just finished in London. What was it, about a month ago now?
That's
But
huge.
it's really, really exciting. Yeah, it's great. It's a really great way to just, like I said, see the world. I mean, sort of participate in the sport that we all love, and just get a taste of different cultures.
Yeah, I'm more of a cyclist at heart, and I wish we had sort of a cycling equivalent.
Right. Yeah, that would
And
be
maybe
interesting.
there
As well.
is.
Yeah.
All right, so for listeners who may not know about the club, how did Manchester Running Club get started? Like, how has it evolved since it started in 2009? Could you take us on
Sure.
that journey?
Yeah. So the club was founded by Patrick Byrne, 2009. He and his friends just sort of decided, let's get together and run. A bunch of former, at that time, former high school athletes. And Patrick also had this idea of opening a running store, right? So that we were originally Manchester Running Company. That was going to be the store. We were sort of evolved from there. That dream didn't work out for him, but the running club was sort of born out of that, and just sort of grew organically. We hit Patrick's friends. They there was a snowball effect of more people joining the club. The club started competing on the local USATF Connecticut circuit. Had a lot of success there. We've actually always been pretty successful there, but and just sort of grew from there. I found out about the club actually through somebody that Patrick went to high school with, and was, hey, there's a bunch of really good guys that you might want to try and run with. So I looked him up, and there we go. And that's how I think a lot of people find us, word of mouth. They see us at the races. Our jerseys are everywhere. And we have we've really grown. I think I honestly believe because we have a really great culture of people. Right, we don't. There's not a lot of drama in the club. There's just good people that come out and like to be with other good people, spend some time, run, hang out, socialize.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. So, like, what's the sort of club vibe in terms of like the weekly rhythm? Do you have some group runs? Do you
Yeah,
track days? Like, yeah.
yeah, a little bit of everything. One of the things that's interesting, the sort of needle that we thread with our club is we have some really high end, some fast runners, the cheetahs. We have sort of the meat of the pack, which is myself and others, more casual runners, not we're not going to be pros, I don't think. And we have beginners. And so we have this really interesting mix. And so what that leads to is, so yeah, we'll do a group workout night once a week. We do another weekly run that's a lot more social. We meet at a local brewery and just everybody does a couple miles, and then we have some drinks afterwards. And then on the weekends we'll do a group long run, and those are sort of the formal organized club runs. And then as people meet each other, make friends, make pace partners. There's sort of offshoot runs that have formed during the week, other days where people who have similar goals, similar schedules, life events, whatever. So it's actually really interesting to see just how it evolves. People finding their people to run with, and it's a little bit of a matchmaking experience in some
Yeah.
cases.
Are you fairly welcoming? Like, if I'm not part of the club, could I join
100%.
your weekend run and test the
Absolutely.
waters?
Absolutely. I actually am a big believer on telling people to come try before you buy, because I mean, sometimes people will show up at what I'll sort of say is that maybe not the right run for them, right? Somebody might show up at a track Tuesday night and there's a bunch of fast people doing a lot of hard workouts, and that's not what they're there for. And that can be a weird experience. So, it could be it can definitely be intimidating, I'll say too, right? So a lot of times people show up and just can't believe what they're getting themselves into. But we really love having everybody out there with us. We're a really welcoming group.
We've had a number of running clubs, and I'm hearing sort of this trend where the really, really good clubs, they've got a track day or some sort of interval
Mhm.
day. They've got something associated with a brewery or pub, right?
It's the brew thing is really interesting. It's really the current thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can show up, you can run whatever pace you want, and then you have like the long run on the weekends. Like,
Mhm.
that's essentially what you're telling me. I guess that's how you crack the code of keeping the elites with also the beginners and
Mhm.
sort of the lifestyle runners, like if that's the right
Yeah.
word for it,
Yeah.
masters
No, I mean
runners like
that's
yourself.
yeah, exactly. No, I think that's right. And the social runs, the brewery runs, and then on Saturdays, a lot of times we'll do like coffee after the run or whatever. But those types of experiences where people can really get together and just find out sort of break the ice with somebody who maybe they wouldn't have otherwise had a conversation with. We have a guy who just ran a 2:18 marathon. Is just, and a lot of the back of the pack people are just
Wow.
honestly sort of intimidated to even talk to him. And so, but we have these social events, and it turns out everybody's just a human being out there with their own goals.
So okay, so where is Manchester in the whole space of Connecticut? You just put it in like a frame of reference without me Googling it right now. I know
Geographically,
Hartford.
you mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like I
we're
know, yeah.
yeah, so we're I'll say 10 miles outside of Hartford on the east side, so that we're considered one of the Hartford suburbs, just on the east side of the Connecticut River, which is in Connecticut parlance, you're either east or west of the river, so we're on the east side.
Are we doing some trail runs as well, or is it mostly
We do,
road and
sure.
track?
Yeah, sure. No,
Yeah?
Manchester actually has so that's one of the things I'll say about the town and the community here in general. We're really blessed with a really good trail system. We have Case Mountain, which is a Connecticut mountain, right? So we're not talking about Colorado here, but it's a beautiful trail system, a nice peak, nice hills to climb. Yeah, and our club definitely has a bunch of trail runners. We compete on a trail circuit also. We just had somebody do a 50K in the trails, which just makes no sense to me at all. But
Nice. I've heard that area is also really good for gravel cycling.
yeah, oh yeah, you're not wrong, not wrong. We have I mean, for easy runs and cycling, we have the airline trail. Well, we have the Hop River Trail and the airline trail, and they sort of merge together. But you can take that from Hartford all the way up into Mass, into Rhode Island, I think actually is where it ends up.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a,
on my
it's a,
bucket list to do a little
yeah,
airline action.
yep, yep.
All
There
right,
used to
so
be there used to be a race in Connecticut. It's not put on anymore, but it was a relay race that would go from Uxbridge, Mass, to Hartford, all on that trail, and just sort
oh,
of like a
that's
one
cool.
day, a mini Ragnar sort of thing.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so what events does MRC host or support? And also, where do you guys consistently show up at each year? I guess it's a two-part question.
Well, so we're very proud of we put on a 1 mile race and a 5K race the same day, the Spring Street Mile 5K. It's the fastest mile anybody will ever run. It's 150 feet downhill over a mile. If
Wow.
anybody's familiar with the Hollis Fast 5K in New Hampshire, it's sort of a similar thing, but only a mile. It's just fat, fast and fat. That just happened, and at the end of May. And then in the summer, we have a sister organization, MRC Track and Field, which is another nonprofit, but we're very closely aligned with. I'm on the board of that, and our members are all very involved in that. And that we with that org, we do a summer track and field series in July. So it's one every Thursday in July in Manchester at our local high school, where that was founded with the idea of getting youth interested in track and field. So our observation is that at least locally, other sports were becoming a lot more popular with kids, soccer, football, basketball, whatever it may be. And the track and field program here was sort of suffering. So what we really tried to do is say, let's get some kids involved in track and field early. So it's free for anybody under 18 to attend. We get kids, I mean, literally toddlers. We do a toddler 50-yard dash, which is just the most fun thing to watch in the world. But then we have, 6, 7, 8-year-olds who can come out and run 100 meters, run 200 meters, do a long jump, and just see if they like it. And the hope is that will just lead to greater participation as they age up into high school, into college, and really drive the sport that way. So it's really been a great success. We've been doing that for, I want to say, 10 years now, and now we sell out most weeks. We have about 600 kids and adults. It's about 450 kids and maybe 100 adults, 150 adults each week, depending.
Okay, so let's break this down because I think this is
Yeah,
a really important event that you guys run. So it's called the MRC Track and Field Series.
correct.
And I took a quick peek. It's actually on a separate website, and it looks like there's a bunch of different events. What are some of the events that
We
take
we do
place?
everything. The popular ones, especially for the kids, are the shorter ones. So every week we do 100, 200, 400, 800, long jump, high jump, and then we alternate the meets with some of the throws. So 1 week we'll do javelin, another week we'll do a discus, safe javelin. Right, we're not giving everybody pointy stuff. And then we'll also mix in some other events, some of the longer events for the adults. So we'll do like the 1 mile, 2 mile. We do the 5K once. We actually do a steeple jump once during the series too, because we get a lot of adults who like to sort of relive their glory days there. And
That sounds entertaining.
it is. It can. We had one of our club members actually one year first of all, he decided to do every event on the meet that night. So he did the 100, 200, just go through the whole list of it, right? And he also had never done the steeplechase in his life, but that was the steeple night. So it was fun to watch him start the run, and the first barrier, he sort of eyed it up and went over kind of slow, and then the second one he got a little more confident, and by the end of the race he had just sort of figured it out and was just killing it. So yeah,
And so it looks like it happens over a series of 4 weeks. And
correct. Every week in July.
can I just show up for one and not all of
Mhm.
them, or how does it work?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. You can each week. So it's $10 a week for adults. Like I said, kids totally free. But yeah, you show up for one, show up for all of them, and it just, like I said, it goes to a great cause. We all of the money we give back in the form of we be buying equipment for the local high school, or some other ways we can sort of spend money on the support to really grow youth sports. We're looking at things like maybe scholarships in the future, that sort of thing.
hmm Well, I'm not familiar with other, I guess, organizations that might be running this sort of thing for youth during the summer. Like
Yeah,
that's a really cool thing to do in the off
yeah,
season, I think, to keep
yeah. It's
things
great.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we give the high school kids something that they can sort of work out during their off season too.
I mean, do you get some varsity
Sure,
players showing up?
sure. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
That's really, really cool. Okay, so just back to your 5K and your 1 miler. What are the
Mhm.
dates on those? When did those happen?
So those were May 30th. So we just passed on those. But
Okay,
that'll be the same thing next year. We do around the end of May, and that's the 1 mile Connecticut State Championship. So we have the
nice.
USATF Connecticut race there every year.
This reminds me of we interviewed someone from Millennium Running. They do a 1 mile Manchester, New Hampshire race, I think. That's
That's funny.
pretty
I didn't realize that's where it was. That's funny. I'll have to
yeah,
look at them for
I think that's
trademark
it.
something. Yeah.
Okay, so let's chat a little bit about just what's going on in Connecticut. You're our Connecticut representative
Yeah.
today.
Great. Yeah. The rest of Connecticut just gasped.
What's the running scene like down there? Do you have, in Massachusetts, I know because I can speak about this in New Hampshire because I grew up there, like there is a really amazing running culture. There's
Yeah.
there's races every weekend. There's multiple races every weekend. What's it like in Connecticut? I'm sure it's similar. Or,
It is similar, actually. Actually would say Connecticut sort of punches above its weight a little bit too. Like, right, we're a small state. I don't even know, 3 million people, something like that. But we have a really active running community. I bet proportionally speaking, I bet it's
Mm.
as good, or if not more, than Massachusetts or some of the larger states. We do have races every weekend. We have clubs sort of geographically throughout the state. That's who we compete against. And there's also sort of non-competitive clubs that we're very friendly with. I mean, they might cater to more of a social runner, but there's definitely a real running boom happening, and it's happening a lot in Connecticut for sure.
Yeah,
It's been really interesting to see.
we had someone from New Balance on a few weeks ago, and they said, yeah, like we're in the middle of a really good
For
running
sure.
boom right now. So I guess you're seeing that with more clubs and club development and
Yeah,
participants.
definitely. We are. I mean, I can just I can speak, very objectively to our membership, which is that we're just seeing a very steady growth week over week, just new members, and that's definitely noticeable compared to maybe 3 years ago. There's another very social running club in Hartford that started a couple years ago, and they're doing a great job. It's wild to see. They went from a couple people that showed up in the park one night to now they get 200 or 300 people there every week, and it's really fun to see.
Yeah, we see that around here as well. It's just like if you can tie alcohol to it, like people might show
Well, there's
up.
that too. Yeah, there's that too.
Okay. So just looking ahead, like you've been there for 3 years, like you've obviously been involved and probably seen yourself a bit of a growth spurt while you're at MRC. Like, what do you see for MRC in the next couple of years? Do you see yourselves adding more events or more weekly runs? Like, I'm just curious on your vision
Yeah,
for the club.
well, my vision personally is to be just to continue to be the biggest, best club in Connecticut, which I believe we already are, but I just want to continue to see that grow. I actually have just been telling our members that's I want to see our jerseys at every race. I want to see our presence felt everywhere locally, and have people look at us and say, "What is that? I want to be part of that," because I do believe that we are the best club in Connecticut. So
Without
yeah, I
losing
mean,
the culture. You
what
want to
correct? Oh,
keep the
100% without losing the
yeah,
culture, which is again, it's a very difficult thread to needle, right?
yeah.
It's very easy for drama for whatever form of that to sort of come and infect the club, and we've really managed to avoid that so far. But yeah, so far the right people have found us. We've been able to hold on to people, and really we have a good thing going. So to answer your question, my thing is to just continue to grow the club and just show up everywhere.
Hmm. And how do you communicate with your club members? I always find this fascinating
Yeah.
because I'm involved with a number of different cycling clubs, and
Yep.
some people use Slack and Group Me and
Yep.
an email. And like, how do you
Yeah.
guys communicate?
It's talk about a challenge because part of the demographics of our club, right? We have what I'll call kids, 20-year-olds, and older runners. We have some seniors and whatever. So there's a wide range of people who all receive information differently. So we use Discord as our sort of primary internal thing, and people generally find some use out of that. We have an internal Facebook group that we can post on for people who like to use Facebook. We do send a weekly email to everybody. Something I'm actually really proud of. I think that's if I go on a tangent for a second, that's
Sure.
one of the things that we actually started hearing from other clubs several years ago, their members sort of whispering, "Hey, do you see that newsletter those guys have? They really do a good job with posting everybody's race results and these pictures." So that's something we're really proud of, where we highlight all of our runners, the results from the last week, and PRs, and
That's amazing.
yeah, we try to do a good job of either stalking a little bit and finding race photos, or we have a photographer in the club, an amateur photographer who takes amazing pictures. I'll throw him a shout out. People should follow him at Metered Exposure. He does a great job of race photos. But anyway, so we
Metered.
we really
What's it called?
Metered Exposure.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll
So look
definitely
those up.
add him
Yeah.
to our show notes.
Yeah, for
That's cool.
sure.
So you must have a pretty good, I guess, executive team, if that's the right word.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
probably have.
we have a board of directors. So as I said, I'm the president. We have a treasurer, a secretary, and then we have 7 other board members who really just keep the train rolling. Right. We have somebody in charge of social media. We have our racing captains. We have somebody who just helps coordinate our social events. What else? How somebody's getting mad at me for forgetting them? But yeah, that's we could not. There was a long period where we're just one or two of us just trying to keep things going, and that's just doesn't scale. It's just not tenable. So we had some people step up and really help out. So
Well, so who runs like the track day? Do you have a coach that steps up and does that, or
well, so I mean that's a oh, so the Tuesday night track club you're talking about. So
yeah,
that's interesting. Yes, so we have anybody that doesn't have sort of a workout or a plan or something like that. Yes, we have several people who are coaches, and they're always giving advice to people. What's your goal? How can I help you how can I help you get to what you want to do? A lot of times people show up with, I'm running a half marathon in October. And so they sort of have a sense of, I'm doing this thing. What would be a good workout for me to do to work towards that goal? I would say, gosh, probably at least half the people, maybe more, who show up, they're using their own coaches. They're paying, they're
Really?
either ChatGPT or they're paying somebody or whatever they're doing. So they're showing up with, I know that I've got this workout tonight, and they're always happy to have people jump in and do it with them. If somebody's doing a hard 800 workout, doing it with friends is better than doing it solo. So sometimes
Yeah,
people
yeah.
will just say, you know what, I'll do that with you. And that's another bit of that's actually another interesting bit of the culture of our club, right? A lot of you'll always get a volunteer to say, hey, I'll pace you on that workout, or I'm looking for something to do. Let's do it together.
Yeah, yeah.
And it really makes the nights go by faster.
Yeah, some other clubs that I'm aware of, they might say, "Hey, tonight's 12 by 400, that's
Yep.
what we're doing. You're welcome to
Yep.
do your own thing, but this is what we're
Yeah.
doing."
Yeah, we've looked at that. It's just been, I think, it's the challenge of different runners, different levels, different goals for us has just made
Yeah,
that a little bit hard to manage. So
yeah, yeah. Everybody's got a different peak, different goal.
exactly, right.
So for someone who's listening to this and maybe they're currently running alone and they're
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I really want to join a club, but I'm a little bit nervous about it. Maybe, I'm not as social, like, or maybe I'm not fast enough." Like,
Yeah.
what would you say to them?
I mean, don't be afraid to just show up one night and try it out. I am everybody who might know me, who's listening to this, might not believe that I'm actually pretty introverted. I'm very, hard to. I'm very shy to strike up a conversation with somebody. But my experience with all running clubs, honestly, especially ours, I'll just say, like, ours is the best, we all know, but any running club I've interacted with, it's very similar. Everybody's welcoming. Everybody is out there sort of for the same thing. We've all gone through the same challenges of, that person's faster than me, or I don't belong here, imposter syndrome. But I haven't yet heard of a running club to turn somebody away, or make somebody feel unwelcome.
And where would they get the info on where to show up if they hadn't yet joined?
Sure. So ours is all on our website, manchesterrunningclub.com.
So
and
you
and
have the like Saturday morning or whatever it might be, or
So, well, yeah, well, our Saturday runs rotate locations, so we don't put them on there just because there's just not a great way to keep on top of that. But we are always in the same place Tuesdays and Thursdays.
okay.
So speaking for ourselves, anybody who's local to Connecticut, you can show up at Manchester High School on a Tuesday night at 6, and we'll be there. Except for next week, high school graduation might throw a little wrench in that, but most Tuesday nights
Yeah.
and Thursday nights we're at the local Manchester brewery, Urban Lodge. So, yeah, like I said, we're very much a try before you buy type place. Come and run with us, and test it out. And again, my experience is most clubs, if you're not local to Manchester, tend to be the same way.
Yeah. So, do you have a running event, not your own, that's sort of like a hidden gem in the state of Connecticut?
We have a running event that is not a hidden gem. We do have a running event that is a gem.
What is that?
So the Manchester Road Race. Now this is completely unaffiliated with Manchester Running Club. The Manchester Road Race. This upcoming year is the 90th year of the race. It's the
Wow.
largest race in New England that's not named Boston Marathon. They cap it at 15,000 people, and it's on Thanksgiving. So it's I mean, obviously for the hometown club, it's sort of our unofficial Thanksgiving race. But even for Central Connecticut, it's the big event of the year. If you're not familiar with it, it's got a prize pool that attracts Olympians. So you can name any recent Olympian, and they've run here. Connor Mantz was here a couple years ago. Galen Rupp has been here. Wayne Colati is the four-time, I think, defending champions. There's some really fast people, and then obviously our local sub elites, faster runners, all take it very seriously. And then you get the guy in the hot dog costume, or the guy dressed
Yeah.
up. That we still, it's. I mean, before I was a runner, I would watch the race, and it's even going back then. This is 20 years ago now. You get the guys dressed up like the fighters from the hockey movie. That's the name is escaping me now. The Paul Newman hockey movie. Slapshot, the three
So
fighters, the
so
three
yeah.
brothers from Slapshot, yes. So anyway, the point is you get guys dressed up in costumes, Christmas trees, and it's just a really, it's a fun event. The whole town comes out. It's a 5 mile race where everybody's out on the street. If you're either running or you're on the street watching and cheering, and maybe having a drink.
That sounds awesome. The Turkey 5 miler, Manchester, Connecticut.
Yes, it's the Manchester Road Race. A very unique opportunity, or a very unique
Do you
race, I
know
should
who
say.
runs the event?
It's run by another board. Tris Carter is the president and local runner, and he has a whole group supporting him.
Whole other situation
Yep.
going on. That's
Yeah,
great. I'll have to
absolutely.
look
Yeah.
that up.
Yeah. That one takes a whole team, state and
Awesome.
local, police and fire and everybody. So
That's very cool.
But
Yeah,
that's yeah,
thanks
so
for
that's not a hidden gem, but that's a local gem for sure.
yeah. No, that's good stuff. I mean, this has been sort of eye-opening for me because, well, personally, like I'll drive to New York, maybe I'll go through Hartford, and I often
Yeah.
wonder like, "Oh, what's happening around here from an endurance
Yep. Yep.
perspective?" And it sounds like there's a lot going on. So,
There really is. There really is. Like I said, we're punching above our weight. It's been really interesting to be part of the growth of it, and maybe even be for myself, be a little bit on the front edge of it and watch it. But
is there anything you'd like to mention to our audience today about your club or anything else coming up that should be aware of?
gosh, I mean, I think we really talked about it all, right? I mean, like I said, we're the best club in Connecticut, hands down. If
Nice.
you're in the if you're in the Hartford area, just come check us out. We're a good group of people. But if you're not local in Manchester, I would definitely encourage somebody to go find somebody to run with, find your club, and it's a fun experience.
Yeah, I wish I was more local. I'd come and join you for a
Yeah,
track workout.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, I think one of the biggest takeaways from this is that MRC is not just a club, but it's not just a place where you go and sort of meet up for runs. It sounds like it's a nice community to be a part
We
of. Balances racing with sort of beginner tendencies as well, youth involvement.
all of those things, yeah, absolutely. Families too. We have we do a lot of events with where we encourage our members to bring their families out and just get everybody together. So yeah, the community is a good word for it.
Yeah, very welcoming to the sport. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on. I'm going to tag everything that we talked about in our show notes. And
Great.
if you enjoyed the episode, whoever's listening out there, be sure to follow us, share this, share it with a fellow runner. Keep supporting your local endurance community. You can learn more about Manchester Running Club at manchesterrunningclub.com. And you can check out the summer track series at mrctf.org and follow the club on Instagram too. I think it's at Manchester Running Club. So
Exactly.
thank you so much for coming on, David. This was fantastic.
Yeah, this was really good to talk to you. Thanks for having me.
And thanks everyone for listening. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the New England Endurance Podcast. In the meantime, get out there and drop some hammers and enjoy the beautiful terrain of New England. Thank you.